like, look at this.
That was me. I met him.
That's you.
Yeah, I met him.
And
well,
Rick
that's me on
Dees.
yeah, I was friends with Rick's son, so we saw him the Bad concert at the Coliseum.
Oh.
Way worse story.
Yeah, that.
You got Macaulay Culkin and Michael Jackson played Good Cop, Bad Cop with you, and
Yeah.
I met him backstage at the Coliseum.
And Rick Dees is just there.
Yeah, I'm more excited about Rick in this photo, to be honest. And did you met? I heard you met
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
Jackson.
I did meet Michael Jackson.
That's pretty goddamn cool.
Yeah, that is insane. It's quite a story. I can try to condense it for you.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I when I was in the 8th grade, I had a girlfriend, and everything fell apart later in my life. But I peaked around 8th grade, and I had a really pretty girlfriend. And her father knew Michael Jackson. He ran a studio or something, and they offered us to go out to Neverland for the day. And so we went up there, and it was probably months before the whole lawsuit and everything.
The first one?
Yeah, and in fact, Macaulay Culkin came by, as were all the boys that sued him, and all this insane stuff that I did the whole thing. I met the
Wait, what do you mean
monkey.
the whole thing?
You know what I mean.
Right.
No, I did not. I didn't even do it with my girlfriend. Why was I going to do it with him? I met Bubbles, and I went in Mac and Mike's theme park. It was a water park that he and Macaulay made themselves. They built basically like what every kid would ever want. Water. It was all built-in water guns at every post, and flood buttons, and all these water balloons, hundreds of them. And we were on teams, and I was on his team, and we won.
You were on Michael Jackson.
I was on Michael Jackson's team, and I remember
You met Michael Jackson.
Oh, I hung out with him for the whole time.
That's
there.
awesome.
And we won, and then we played a game which now, as I recall it, does sort of seem slightly incriminating, but
Go on.
it was called Smoke Tag. And we went into a room that was filled with smoke, and we played tag in it, but you couldn't see anybody. So there was a lot of like tag playing, and that was when Macaulay Culkin was there at that point, and it was the 4th of July weekend, and they were having whole fireworks, and Macaulay Culkin sped up in a golf cart with flames on the side and jumped out with like a leather jacket, and he was like a real punk. And when we played this smoke tag, he threw me on the ground, and we started this like feud that continued throughout the evening. And when we ended up in Michael's toy attic, after we watched a movie in his movie theater, including a retrospective of his own life, and then all the little Culkins were doing impressions of him, like hee hee, and he was sitting there just watched the whole retrospective. He at one point leaned over and said like to Macaulay, oh, remind me, I gotta call Toys R Us. We'll close it down and head out there over the weekend. It was like Elvis closed supermarkets or whatever. And then when we were up in this toy attic where he had, at the time, every gaming system that was around in every game, and Macaulay Culkin he was throwing stuff at me, and then he hit me on the head with something, and I said, don't do that again anymore, or I'm gonna. I was a black belt, but this was years later. I had already forgotten. And he did it again, and I threw him against the wall, and I started slamming him against the wall, saying, "I told you not to fucking." And then Michael Jackson came in between us. You can let your mind rest there for a second.
I imagine the thing of the bad video.
Yeah, and he parted us, and he put his arm around me, and he was like, sorry, Mac can get a little. Rambunctious, and he's like, so where are you from? And I was like, oh, I live in, Los Angeles. Oh, yeah. He's like, how old are you? And I said, oh, I'm 12. And he said, oh, you Jewish? which was like, fuck, it still is. I don't know where that segue came from. And I said, I am. He said, oh, you going to have a Hanukkah? And I said, what? And he said, a Hanukkah. You going to have a Hanukkah? And I was like, I mean, he's like, yeah. I was like, every year I'll have one. I mean, and he's like, yeah, no, where you become a man. And I was like, oh, a bar mitzvah. He's like, yeah. And I said, yeah. And as soon as I said when I became a man, he shoved me away. I don't like him like that. No, but, and then I spent the night in his life-size dollhouse.
Jesus.
With my girlfriend at the time.
Oh, so you got to bring a girl in.
I had a girl there.
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty amazing.
But it was absolutely the craziest thing. And I grew up. For me, it was that Thriller was that was
Greatest
everything.
album ever. That's probably the craziest thing that'll ever happen to you in your whole life.
I often think that.
Yeah.
I look around a room and I'm like, nobody else here has ever had anything.
Amazing.
I got to go into his. I did go into his bedroom and I went into his closet, and it's when he would wear the red shirt, black pants, fedora, mirror sunglasses, and his closet, it was like a cartoon. It was literally about 150 red shirts, 150 black pants, 150 fedora. It was like,
that's incredible.
And he had a TV that came out of the ground. I'd never seen anything like it.
That's a pretty goddamn cool story.
That beats the hell out of your story about getting fucked by Dan Fogelberg.
2 times today I've said something
No,
in
Dan
confidence.
Fogelberg's a great guy.
What if I actually got fucked by Dan Fogelberg?
Even like you say, your unwanted WNT allegations against Michael Jackson. There had to be kids that were like, well, "This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is not some old priest."
We have some news stories here. Okay. I just wanted to cover. Let's see what's in the news. Actually,
Okay.
we got this one here. The international news. We have a new pope, and
how about all that crap made about that?
What
With
crap?
the
they've been
black
talking about
smoke
that,
and the white smoke and the millions of people.
Yeah.
I know the last thing the cardinal asked is, okay, before we elect a new pope, everyone raise your hand who molested a kid. Unanimous! I would like to see this. I brought this clip. Run it. This is how I would like to see the election of the pope.
The election of the Pope.
Yes, run it.
As here it is.
Here it
well,
is.
this isn't the.
No, this isn't it. Oh, there it
there
is.
it is.
There's the crowd. Now watch. Watch. All right, the door's going to open. And there's the Pope. There's the Pope.
Oh, wait, that's not.
That's the Pope.
Ah.
We should explain to the folks that was Michael Jackson.
Let's explain. Yeah, explain who Michael Jackson is to the people.
Everyone knows Michael Jackson. What, are you retarded?